This is Nia Divine, representing Certified Proof Productions. When I'm not painting the city red, I'm always tuned into the LANCESCURV show, the spot where it's always kept real.
You know, believe it or not, it's been 3 years and almost 2 months, and I'm still grieving over the loss of Michael Jackson. And I grieve about so many different things. And, you know, grief is a 5-stage process. And I keep flipping back and forth through different stages, and I haven't reached the final stage of acceptance yet. But one of the stages I keep finding myself in is the anger stage. And I'm really, really angry at Michael Jackson. I'm angry at the way he left this world. I'm angry at the choices he made. I'm angry that he just wanted certain people around him to just say, yes, Michael. You know, I'm angry that he didn't leave his siblings anything. But, you know, hey, he really wasn't obligated to leave his siblings anything. I'm not saying he was obligated. But we're talking about a man who knew that he would more than likely be worth at least $1 billion should he, you know, depart from this world. I know he was aware of that. And I'm angry because this is Michael Jackson. I love the children of the world and visited children in hospitals all over different countries and here in the United States. And, I mean, just very was charitable with his donations. That's all fine and good. But if you didn't want to leave your siblings nothing with $1 billion estate, well, what about the children in your own family? What about, you know, your nieces and your nephews? Why didn't he couldn't leave them $100 a month? Nothing? But you help all these other children, and then it's like, you know, he deliberately decided he was going to let all of his earnings, all of his money, live on through white people. 50 years from now, 100 years from now, 50 years from now, won't no black people be spending Michael Jackson money? I mean, who does that? I've done some research yesterday. I was so angry. I wanted to find a white millionaire or a white billionaire that left all this money to black people. And I couldn't find one. I could not find one in the history of the United States that has done this. Now, it has happened on a fluke. You know, for instance, there's a high school here in the South. It was once a college campus, and it's named after a particular gentleman who was a Klansman back in the day, and he was a very rich man. I think he was in insurance or something. But he endowed, he endowed this school $1 million a year. This particular high school has $1 million a year, every year, that they have to spend. They have a tractor trailer for their band. They have the finest instruments. Their theater is off the hook. When they get bored, they tear down a building and build another one in its place.
Wow.
These kids, for their senior trip, they go to places like France and Italy. They have to spend this $1 million a year.
Wow.
Well, I know that man is rolling around in his grave because now this school is predominantly black.
Wow.
Now, see, that right there is a fluke. He did not do that intentionally. You know, so I'm pretty angry with Michael about a whole lot of stuff.
But would you think that in your grieving process, because you've grieved for a time, that this anger was always there, but it's just unearthing itself because you've scratched the surface of the other grieving away?
No, I just think it's really coming out more with, the recent events that took place with the family and just learning more information and just really putting things, from what I see, from where I'm standing.
In perspective.
In its proper perspective.
Yeah.
And I just don't understand. It's $1 billion. Nobody in the Jackson family for generations to come should ever have to struggle.
Exactly.
But this is a man who said he loves all the children of the world, but you didn't love your own flesh and blood to leave them anything?
Yeah, that's a funny call.
Are these kids really his flesh and blood? No.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Come on, let's be real. Ain't nobody stupid. Was his family that jacked up? Every last one of them. Every last one of his siblings.
I know.
Jermaine always struck me as an opportunist and always trying to take advantage of a situation to get some money, and he's done a lot of foul things. So if he left Jermaine out, I can understand that.
Mm-hmm.
If he wanted to hold it against Latoya for calling that press conference in Israel, I think that's where she was.
Mm-hmm.
If he left out, I can understand. There's just certain stuff that you just don't let go.
You're right.
And you got a big person. You got to be a big person to let what Latoya stated go, especially if you were innocent.
You're right.
And if he felt that, Janet is just self-sufficient, she's talented, she's going to be all right. And I would think that would be more for the children of the family.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, forget about the adult brothers and the other sister, if he wanted to. Y'all are grown man and woman. Make your own mark in this world. Hold yourself down. But here's something for your children.
But the bottom line, all the Jacksons have a heck of a name anyway, and that alone gives them a jump start in whatever endeavor they get into, because whatever they choose to get into, it's got free publicity somehow, some way. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Just from the connection alone. Really?
Yeah, they do have that advantage.
And I mean,
but then again, the media and the people who are out to get Michael, they basically tried really hard to make the entire Jackson name mud. I mean, especially during those allegation days back in '93 and, the more recent one. Shoot, I can imagine if he was my uncle, I wouldn't want nobody to know I was a Jackson.
You're right.
During those days, that was hard for everybody in the family, not just him. Especially the kids. Kids are mean when they go to school and they got to deal with that.
Yep.
I'm sure they wanted to erase their last name. And as great as Michael Jackson is, even to this day, when anybody talks about him in the media, they always make sure they bring up these child molestation allegations.
You're right about that.
Every time. They never leave that out. So what is the Jackson name really worth? And I just don't see why he didn't leave Tito, Marlon, Randy, Jackie, Reby, anything. I mean, I don't understand.
But then you're going to get comments like you had before. People saying, "Oh, this sounds, and it has racist overtones, and those are his kids, and if he wanted to do that, fine." But you're making a point there. I mean, the rest of the family, their other kids. He loved the children of the world. I mean, you're right. And you see, what I want to say is that why is it an issue when you have this black family that's turned into a circus for profit in ways that you'll never really understand? The ratings game. There are people peddling these stories and amplifying them so that they can get these advertisers who want to hawk their products while these stories are being played, so that network or that station or that entity in the media can make more money. So they love it and they want to keep it going. And it seems like, especially with a black dynasty like this, and this is a dynasty for the world. Yes, Michael Jackson's dynasty was a creative dynasty for the world. He loved the world. He did this from his soul. He was God's, creation. So don't get it twisted that I'm trying to say that this is just a black thing. But since it is a black thing, as far as the packaging that they've come in, this world, we're not talking about the fans, we're talking about these media entities. It seems like they always have to have the last word and making you part of a sideshow and a circus and chewing you up and spitting you out until there's nothing left. This is what they do. They preserve their own. Okay? And the ones in power are not black. So don't think, well, you have BET, they're a power broker. There's nothing compared.
And BET is owned by white folks.
Exactly. So right. But what I'm saying is that even if it was owned by blacks, because it was at one time, don't think that we have something. We don't own media. We don't own newspapers. We don't have these outlets. We work along with them, but we don't own it. There are people making money off of this whole Michael Jackson circus. And I have to also say that every family has dysfunction, and every family has stuff going on that if you were famous, it will be broadcast out there too. But the media seems to want to preserve the ones they want to preserve and knock down. The Michael Jackson story, this whole craziness should have ended as far as the coverage when he passed on. Let the man rest in peace. I understand we're all concerned. And we're talking here because it's being fanned. And, I'm glad that you can share your truths. I'm not going to say opinion, your truths, because out of all the people listening, over the years, going back, you studied every hair in that man's nostril. So you know him well. But what I'm saying is that this thing should have...
I know of him well, yeah.
Yeah,
him.
You're right. But you know what? Of him and him, because he put so much of himself out there that you didn't make the face-to-face connection. But this is why also people feel, wow, I have a connection to Michael, because he gave of himself. But we absorb it through the electronic means most of the time, unless you catch a glimpse of him. But this is a damn shame that they're still bouncing his name around, story, kids, family, this, that. Yes, I'm not relieving certain family members of their participation in this, because they have a role in it also. But the money, we're not allowed to have money. We're not allowed to have money in a dynasty and something that can possibly continue on. With this society, if we're in the mud, digging with a shovel, trying to get ours, even that's not good enough. We're not supposed to have anything, according to some people in the society, and when they do, they don't like it. So tear them up. Rip it up. You know what I mean?
Well, it was Michael's decision how he wanted his estate to flow after his death. So, this was his decision. But why? Why would you allow your dynasty to go tracing off to white people?
And see, let me just clear up. It's not a matter of clear it up, because we're speaking, and people know what we mean. People know what we mean. If there was a white kid dying in a hospital bed right now, Michael Jackson would have come to the rescue. If there was a little white girl somewhere or some family hungry, he would have came to the rescue. So people do not turn this around and say, oh, they hate white people, they don't want so-and-so. But listen, the bottom line is, the very people who are fighting over his money behind the scenes wouldn't give a damn about that same white kid or that same white family because they're so damn greedy. You see, when black folks talk, before you make your comments, when we talk amongst ourselves and we say white folks or we say white people, you know good and damn well what we mean. The people in power, the movers and the shakers. We don't mean you who are blue collar, who are going out there working for yours all the time, every week, just like us. So before you get up on there, oh, it's white, and you said white people. You've been in this country all these hundreds of years with us, all this time, and you know good and darn well how we talk. You knew good and darn well how we talk when 9/11 happened, and us who are marginalized and separated from you embraced us because for a while we were Americans. And so you picked us over that Middle Eastern looking dude because they were the enemy at one time. Now we're back to...
They became the new niggas.
Exactly. Only for a time, though. Because now, you know, I have women clutching their bags when I walk in 7-Eleven. You know what I mean? And they're talking to the Middle Eastern dude. Everything's hunky-dory again. I'm back the enemy again. I'm the boogeyman again. Until the next time when you want me on the front lines. Yeah, the boogeyman. Exactly. But this country has a problem with race and talking. And you want to play dumb like you don't know. I'm not trying to change the subject, Madamwhipass. I just had to put that down. And I wanted to say one more thing. So some people got a problem. This is like kind of off topic. I'm driving the bus today, and we have a street here called President Barack Obama, either Lane Street, Highway, Boulevard, Parkway. I think it's Parkway. Okay, somebody have to correct me if I'm wrong. Whatever. It's right here in Orlando. It's a newly cut street, and it goes down the Conroy Road and ends right there. There's a woman on the bus. She wasn't white. She was Latino, you know, and she had a problem because look, my Latino brothers and sisters, y'all got the same color problem that we do because a lot of y'all are black. Some of y'all have white in you, whatever have you, and you got that separation going on. And a lot of Latinos were pissed when Barack Obama did win. Okay, they want to have the first Latino, whatever, first over, whatever, some stupidness. They got that superiority thing when they come here, a lot of them, okay? And I talk raw about it. And I told you I'm going to be coming out raw with my stuff that I see. I love my Latino brothers and sisters, but you got some screwed up things toward black people, some of you, okay? Now, she's on the bus with me, and she says, oh, I want to get off at that next street. President, I don't know how to say that name. Is it Obama, Barack, or Barack, or what? I said, no, I think it's President Louis Farrakhan. Yes, President Louis Farrakhan Parkway. Oh, my God. Why did I say that? So in essence, you know, your own president, you don't know his name. Probably she voted against him. I don't care. She's an American. If she fell down on the ground, I'd help her up, too. Bottom line is stop the games, people. Stop this denial. You got issues, man. But she knew Farrakhan, though. Barack Obama's on TV every day, on the paper every day, but she knew Farrakhan, who's not out there every day like that. And she screwed her face. No, not Louis Farrakhan. And then she said the name right, President Barack Obama. I said, oh, so you do know it. So stop the crap. Anyway, I'm sorry to take it off of that, but like I said, when we say white folk, we don't mean all white people. We don't hate white people. We judge or estimate according to the character. But when we say this, and take this with you, people, when you hear black people say white people, they mean the people in power. Hell, you'll be saying white people too. The government, the people in these agencies, the folks who have more money than you and look down on you and whatever, that superiority thing. Because in this country and in most of the world, black is undesirable. That's why we doing stuff to ourselves and we hate ourselves. Folks hate, the media put stuff out there. And that's why I'm so glad, whether you agree with his politics or not, Barack Obama smashed down so many stereotypes. Because especially with foreign people, if niggers are so much like thugs, look at him. Oh, well, he's half white. That's why. Well, let somebody looking like Barack Obama rob the bank. And let the police put out, what they call it, an APB or whatever it is, on catching him. What did he look like? He was a black man, 6'9", real dark, 380 pounds. Describing Barack Obama. But when it's something excellent, something good, an achievement, you see, well, he's half what? Once she caught, well, I'm not going to get nasty about his mama, but anyway. But yeah, I'm sorry to take it off topic. I was just a little spirited about that.
No, it's you can continue for a few more minutes.
You must be busy. You must be busy over there. But yeah.
I'm in my clothes getting ready for work.
Yeah, but this is 2012, people, and we should be relaxed enough to talk about everything. You know, when you have a family discussion and you close the door and you say, listen, we're going to talk about some things that might be unpleasant, but we're going to have to get past this in order to make progress. We're going to have to face these things. And with race in this country, we've swept too many things under the rug. And I think we know each other enough, black, white, Latino, Asian, Native American, Middle Eastern, Caribbean, whatever, culture, race, class, status, pedigree, that we can stop the games and face it, because until we do, it's going to be the same foolishness going on. Some things we don't like, but it's ignorance that we're perpetuating. That's why I can be as bold and say what I say, and people run with it in an ignorant way and want to hide behind certain things. We're all human beings. If I have type O blood and I need a blood transfusion, there could be an old white man that want to give me blood. Is it going to reject it? Probably not. Same type blood, right? So we are still family. Even here in America, we're still family. If you drop me somewhere over in China where I don't know the language and it's a whole different culture, that's a shock. I'd want to come back home to America. I don't even care if it's the redneck part of the country. There's McDonald's, Burger King. Whew, something familiar I can see. You see what I mean? Mm-hmm. So he called me nigga, but it just feels so good to be back home. Because this is all I know. I'm not saying people call me that. Unless you want to make your dentist rich. Because I hit pretty hard. Picking your teeth up like bloody chiclets. Anyway. But we should be able to talk about these things because we have to. Because our kids are watching us and they're absorbing this stuff. And it's going to perpetuate. The way we're going now, racism is not going to end. It's not going to end. You have the spiritual aspects behind it. You have the ignorance keeping it up. You have the media putting us against each other. And you know, this is why, and I'm talking to all the people who are going to get angry or what I just said about white people and explaining that and whatever. Let me say one more thing. It's beneficial to the powers that be for us to be at each other's necks. Listen to the logic that I'm saying. Imagine me being a white man saying this, or whoever you want, or whoever you feel comfortable with. And that's black people too. I'm black. It's beneficial for the powers that be for us to go at each other. You see these shootings that are going on out here? Yes, these last two major shootings were done by white men. Okay? Look for another one to be done, maybe, possibly, by a black man in a white area. I don't wish this. I'm saying this for this reason. We're being ruled by fear. Already, these shootings are taking place in places that are just not Main Street, USA. Okay? Little towns, little places, in comparison to the bigger inner cities. To cap it off now, if we have something happen like this, which I believe is orchestrated, because they want to bring martial law into existence. What better way than to tip off or trip off a race war? This guy who did this last shooting, he was a white supremacist. supremacist or supremacist. I don't know all these words. I know you know these words, but he was into white supremacy. It was obvious with that. So even though he shot up whites and maybe others, black folks were watching. Oh man, next guy I see with tattoos and maybe a Confederate flag or some type of white supremacist type stuff, I gotta watch it. He shot them. He'll damn sure shoot us up. You might have that go on. It might be one who shoots up people in the black neighborhood. And you know there are a lot of guns in the black neighborhood, just as there are everywhere else. They shoot too, whether they're legal or illegal. But then there may be one from a black man and a white. So what I'm saying is that our minds are being seasoned to go off on each other, to look at each other, to stare each other down at the mall. What are you looking at, nigga? Oh, what about you, cracker? So what's it going to be? And you whip out your guns and you shoot each other. And now we're going to have curfews and be controlled in our movement because we're doing the work of the government that wants to control us. Those who believe in the Confederacy have a big issue with the U.S. government. Okay? Use your brains, people. Whether you're white, black, Latino, whatever. Use your brains. I believe we're being set up for a race war in order to give up our rights out of fear. And the government take in and say, you people can't even walk down the street without all this riots and shoot-ups and stuff happening. We're going to take control. You go when we say go and where you're allowed to work, and you come back and we're taking all your guns. See? I believe that. And then we'll be in a one big, not just a police state, but a collection of police states in America. And it'll be all over. There'll be no life as it is, and then we'll give everything up out of fear of the boogeyman. I'm not your boogeyman. Just because we said something about white folks, white people. The way we talk, the way we talk. I mean, like I told you in a conversation before, madam, there was a older man on the bus giving me a wonderful compliment, talking with me, and he made the mention, the colored boy, Well, the guy was 80-something years old, and I look a little younger than my age, so that's so much a part of his lingo and language. I'm gonna jump on the man because he said, "Boy, I'm more mature than that. I understand his upbringing."
Right.
And I know he was saying that, nigga 50 years ago. I know this. You can look at him and tell. But he's older now. He sees that he ain't gonna live forever, and he's a little kinder now. But the colored thing, at one point we're colored, we're Negro, we're Afro-Americans, African-Americans, all these different things. And he's in the era of when we were colored. I understand that. We're the only people that get changed every 10 years over in what we call ourselves. 10, 15, 20 years. You know what I mean? But it's the same thing. So,
Negro. Nigger.
Exactly. Well, that one stuck. You know what I mean? But all I'm saying is that, to everybody listening, understand that we're being manipulated against each other. And we are not the enemy. If we all really were to band together, you think the government would really want that? And I'm saying that. I mean, and this is me saying this. People think, well, this guy's SCURV. He says some things. Again, I just talk raw. Hey, I'm telling it like it is from my point of view. I can take it if you tell it like it is from your point of view, if you're honest and you explain it and we dialogue on a level of intellect, an intelligence. But don't just throw names and you say ignorant things or whatever have you. I had a response on one of my YouTube videos about, all the blacks on welfare. Okay. And I thought today while I was driving, I said, how they manipulate numbers and we don't really dig into it. And I don't know the numbers exactly, people. Just trust me. And if you do your research, you'll see the same. But just look at this point that I'm making. Okay. Say, for example, how would this make you think if they said, and I'm going to amplify numbers just to make a point now, 50% of all blacks are on welfare, are receiving aid from the government. That's wow. 50% of all. You feel bad as a black. 50%. Let's just say that was true. Okay? And let's say they change the numbers around and say, well, white white women do receive welfare, but they only receive X amount of money, or a certain percentage of them get welfare. Yeah, a certain percentage of white women in America get welfare. Okay, now say you take those two. Let's go to a common denominator. If we're approximately, and it fluctuates, 13% of the population, right? And let's just say half of the population of the 13% are women. So that's half of 13 is 6.5. Okay, so 6.5% of the population would be on welfare if 50% of black people were on welfare. Okay, so that's only 6.5%. Compare that number to, let's say, 10% of white women. Well, if white women are half the population of the rest, okay, which we know there's a whole lot more, and it's 10%, that's so much more than the black 50% that came out of, just that 13%. You understand? So it's how you say it. Say it even. Say it right. Say it right. So stop playing with numbers. Say the thing right the way it needs to be said, and stop misleading people and making people angry as though we're the burdens and we're the ones who are causing these problems. Because we're not. We need to work together. And this thing is really stacked against us big time. So that's really what I wanted to say. I wanted to make a video on that, but I guess it came out on as far as that's concerned. And
yeah, you did good. You did good.
I'll take my bows.
Anybody who wants to claim about how many black people are on welfare in these days and times, come on. I know too many educated black people with master's degrees that can't even get a decent paying job.
Right.
And a whole lot more than that can't get a job, period. It's hard out here. And when white people are doing bad economically, black people are doing 10 times worse.
Exactly. And the thing also is that, in the inner cities where we are packed up on each other, it can look worse. You see, but when you look across the country, with everything spread out, black folks are spread out too, but the Caucasians, the white folks that are out here in the country, their thing is spread out. So it may not look as bad. You understand? But they're suffering too. This is why there's an uproar. And they're finally getting it. I'm not saying finally like they deserve it. That's a whole other topic now, But, they're getting a taste of what we've known in our community for such a long time. And we know how to make ends meet. We know how to stretch those macaroni and cheeses and $2 for $1 cookies and, make sugar water and mayonnaise sandwiches and all kind of crazy stuff.
And we know how to be broke and still want to live.
Exactly. We're not trying to kill ourselves when we lose something. After all we've been through. I'm not saying we're better. We just know how to cope because it's been at our doorstep for so long. We have a master's degree in this thing. When 911 happened, we did not flip out because you know what? We've been terrorized in our neighborhoods from day one. We know terror. It had a different face than what you said. You said Bin Laden did it. I beg to differ. Okay. Nobody. When they killed him, that's a whole different thing. But what I'm saying is that we're used to that. To walk to the store and the police terrorize you because you just happen to be black. You're a suspicious person. And we're kind of flowing with this. We started out with Michael Jackson, and I'm sorry that we changed the subject, but I just have to say this one more thing. Yesterday I was in Publix. I was in Publix in Dr. Phillips, a somewhat affluent area here in Orlando, Florida. And I was dressed nicely, and me and my wife, and we went in to, we just came out of Panera Bread, and we were heading over there to pick up some more Powerade Zeros. I love to drink those. That helps me to keep my weight down. There's no sugar in there. And they're one of the only Publix that has orange that I could think of. I loved orange Powerade Zero over all the other flavors. So they had a sale going on, 10 for $10. So I racked up. So we're pushing the cart, and you could see, that, jewelry, little things on. I had my headphones on, clean. I mean, okay, I don't have to validate myself to anybody. I'm just saying this for the story's sake. There was no reason to think that I was a threat. Body language, mannerable, everything. I'm not saying I'm some watered-down Negro. I'm just saying that I'm civil. I'm tired of being what society wants me to be as far as a person who obeys the law, and I'm still looked at as a monster. This is what irks me, and this is what most black men have to deal with. Now, yes, granted, there are some, and there are many, who call that on themselves by the way they purposely go on out and look, pants sagging, looking wild, tatted up. There's nothing wrong with the tats, but the tattoos, the way you act, make them look a certain way. You have a man out of the military with his pants up and clean shaven, shoes polished. A lot of military guys get tattoos. You don't get afraid then. Haircut. You understand? So I get in line. She was with her husband, putting the stuff on, the whatchamacallit. And I'm waiting. I don't want to get too close up on her, just waiting. If it was a black woman, look, it's just being polite. I'm not going to get too close up on somebody else's woman or any other woman. Okay? I'm not going to invade your space that way. When she turned around and looked at me, I'm surprised she didn't scream. I locked eyes with her just because I saw how she looked at me at first, and she stared. I looked at her, and it was almost like she saw a pit bull. Now, I know I can appear that way if I want to go in costume and mannerisms and act a certain way, depending on what environment I'm in. But I did not have any of that going on. I was just so lit. I was so relaxed. It was almost like I was post-orgasmic. Like I just came. There was no fight in me. And I looked at her, and she looked at me, and then here came that plastic smile. But it was almost like, oh my God, I thought you were a monster, but I see that you're not. But you caught me. I'm just wondering if you saw this. And I just raised up one eyebrow like Mr. Spock and shook my head. And she put her head down. I have to go through that every single day of my life. Even on days I don't go outside, I put the TV on, the newscaster will look at me and put her head down. Not really, I'm just playing a joke. I walked past the TV screen, it was a white sitcom. And I was angry at somebody had called me on the phone trying to solicit and annoyed me. And I was walking past the screen angry. When I came back, everybody left the set of the TV show. Not really, but that was a corny one. But yeah, every day you have to deal with that, and it's subtle. It's a slow burn. It's a slow burn. You put a little flame under that stuff on the stove. It's gonna cook, but it seems like it's taking forever. But when it cooks, it's cooked. And this is what the clenched purses, the people who walk across the street from you when they see you coming down the street, getting followed in the supermarket or the store because they think you're going to steal. And see, it's subtle. It's not like they jump off, let's follow him, he might steal. No, they don't do that. But it's a subtle thing. But it's there. And we become so used to it and so conditioned to it that we don't even notice it as much because that's just the way of life.
Yeah.
That's it. And see, I am not going to absorb no more of their sickness anymore. We're not just talking about white folks now. We're talking about some of our own black people who believe this crap. See, black people, some of y'all know the language. It's almost like when you're being trained to be a police officer. Diversity training. How different people communicate. We may be more animated when we're excited. When you see a bunch of young black men, they don't even have to be sagging, but they're happy or they're excited. Hey man, and they're using their hands. And if you come from a sheltered part of suburbia, where not too many of us are, oh my God, Bill, are they going to fight? Let's get out of here before there's gunshots. They might be happy over graduating college. So people communicate a different way, and we're being sold these images on the news every night. So when you see me in Publix, you look at me like I'm the boogeyman. Man, I'm 50 years old in April, man. I'm 50 years old in April. 5 more years, I can up and live in one of these senior citizen development spots. Wouldn't that be funny? No.
Yeah, right?
No, I mean, I'm living in a nice home. I don't want to do that. I'm just saying I qualify for a whole lot of things. But yet you want to look at me like I'm some young, wild, uneducated monster on a rampage. I'm not accepting that anymore. I'm not jumping through hoops anymore. So if you with your sickness want to continue getting scared, locking the doors at the red light every time I cross the street, following me behind me in the stores, go ahead, do it. Knock yourself out. Because I know how clean I live. I know how clean I live. Was anything missing from your house, Madamwhipass, when we came? I could have cleaned you out.
I know.
You know, I'm going to work. I'm going on into work. Y'all just have a ball, whatever. As a matter of fact, we're not going to reveal where the Madamwhipass sanctuary is, but Madamwhipass's neighborhood is so pristine that she can leave her house with all of the valuables, which her home, yes, qualifies as a mansion. Yes, it does. She didn't even lock the door. You don't have to, the door's unlocked, just go and open. What? So you tell me, America, if you see Madamwhipass in the supermarket, you may think, oh, there's one of those welfare recipients. She probably has 8 babies. How many children do you have, Madamwhipass?
I got 2 parrots and a cat.
Right, but no human babies running around. Exactly. Not that there would be anything wrong if there were, because you're more than equipped to handling it. And I'll have to say that, you know, and this is not a racial thing, but Madamwhipass lives better than 85% of white America. Yes, I'll say that. Trust me on that.
Wow.
But you don't think that way, because you know what? We as black people, you and I, we go after the American dream. Sometimes I may not believe in it. Sometimes it's like, okay, to get the American dream, the hoops are, the mark is a little higher than normal. You know, for me. But you know what? I strive. So if I wasn't doing that, look, people, check out my blog, LANCESCURV.com. I'm doing stuff every day. I'm not sitting here planning on gangbanging and stealing. And I'm a creative soul. I'm an interesting person to sit down and talk to. You can learn a lot from me. But when you see me, it's sad that all you see is a predator, a felon, a potential threat, a potential thief, a womanizer, dropping babies all over the place, not being responsible, a person who doesn't hold down a job. I'm a working fool. I'm a workaholic. And then some. But all those things go out the window because of the crap that's put in your head and the ignorance that you cling on to as gospel. Because for you to change the way you think, white America, you're going to have to learn this thing all over again. And yes, there are some of us as black people who are thieves, who are up and around, screwing everything in sight. There's some who are lazy, don't want to work. Yes, there are some like that. There are many like that.
Every race.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Every race.
Exactly. So stop looking at it as a color thing. You know? And I'm not contradicting myself by saying that, because we will say, yeah, you know, white folks so-and-so and so-and-so. We ain't talking about the ones struggling. That's how we talk. Get over it. We've had to deal with how you talk about us, and we understand it. We understand it. We understand your language. Who was the comedian who made the joke about the 2 languages of the black woman? When she gets the call from the job that she got the job and she answers the phone different. But then when she's home with her kids, you better get on in it before I whip your behind, child. Oh, hello, Mr. Johnson. Yes, I'll be able to come to work in the morning. That's not being hypocritical. That's knowing how to navigate the waters. But my issue, from the propaganda put out there in the media, and from some Caucasians who know better, stop teaching these foreign people coming over here that we're a piece of crap. It bugs me out. You still got soil in your sneakers from the country you came from. But you looking at us, oh, there's the niggers over there, yes, they're bums, they're lazy, they're so-and-so, what? You don't even know me. We built this stuff over here. If
Man,
you really,
I remember watching a Haitian woman beat her kid in the street talking about, stop acting like these black Americans.
wow,
I'm like, really?
wow.
Mm-hmm.
But they sure came over here hard, braving them sharks. No, I won't even say anything like that ignorant, but yeah, come on, man. We all got to get real. But you see what happens when you don't teach real history? You see what happens when people get the facts, they don't get them straight? This crap taught in schools as history is a damn lie and a partial truth made to make some of us look bad and most of others look good. Come on, man.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. It could be a mass murder going on down the block and a cookout going on the other side of the block. And depending on who you talk to, wow, I had a good time on that block. We had such a wonderful time. And somebody else is crying because their brother got killed. It all depends who you talk to.
Mm-hmm.
And there are books that are out here. And I have to say, these are not some books that are tucked away in some Negro bookstore where they're lies. And these are books written by people, white people, Caucasians, all throughout history, but they don't push that evenly. I've gotten my hands on some books, man, that teach me some things. I'm like, wait a second, this thing is twisted. They got them looking like the heroes, and we're just subservient, and we're nothing. What? You go back in history, and where they learned everything from, and they'll throw you a bone. A black man made the stop sign. George Washington Carver is rolling over his grave. Yo, leave me alone. I'm not the only one who did something. So,
And I can tie that right back into the original subject of Michael.
Yeah.
Because,
swing us around.
15 years ago, I used to say, you know what, 100 years from now, Michael Jackson is going to be the greatest white entertainer that ever moonwalked across this earth. And then what I'm seeing today, how his dynasty is going to flow through white people, I was more accurate than ever, now wasn't I?
Exactly. So that shows you how things are minimized throughout history. And I'm going to tell you one thing.
That's exactly why, before 2000, they had like a time capsule thing in New York where you just would bury things from the 20th century.
Wow.
And I buried a Thriller CD with a note on it, on the inside, that said Michael Jackson was a black man.
Wow.
It is buried in New York.
Wow.
So when somebody finds that...
Wow.
That's right.
Madamwhipass, that's prophetic. Not pathetic, prophetic. But I just want to say also that for the white people out there, and everybody else, the whole human family, black people, everybody, to paint yourself, which the current crop didn't write the history books from back then, but when you're painted as a hero all the time, and the accomplishments of black people are minimized, and we're painted as the villain and the buffoon, and they love to get us in Hollywood the 20s, 30s, 40s as buffoons, but it actually is an injustice to everybody because we lose out on the contributions that we gave, you understand, to the whole human family, you see, and that creates a feeling that, well, after going through that history class in high school, I guess all we did was be slaves. And I said it ironically. But yeah, there are things, but we have done so much more. And if the world knew that and was taught that, we'd carry ourselves with a lot more esteem and we'd be looked at with a lot more respect. But I'm going to tell you, the powers that be, they know who we are. They just want to keep us asleep. They just want to keep us to just continue to be asleep because they're afraid if we wake up and realize who we are. No, we're not going to be like you and kill people and kill nations and whatever. No, but then that's when God comes. When black people really wake up, that's when God comes. And more of us are waking up. Trust me. Christians will say, oh, I'm waiting for Jesus to come out. No. Jesus will come when black people wake up. Trust me. I'm saying it in a very abstract way, because people go, well, how can you prove this? Or scriptural, how can you prove this? I am scripture, and I can't quote it. I'm intuitive, and I'm connected. And that's all you have to be with the amount of melanin that you have in your spiritual antennas. You understand? I speak some crazy stuff, but I know what I'm talking about. The least of us, when we wake up, that's when things are going to change. That's when that change is going to come. And that's why they want to continue to keep us, and I'm not saying that the old, how can I put it, black stereotype music, movies back in the day, where the man's trying to keep us down. I'm not saying that. It's a spiritual thing. It's not about the actual, the ignorant folks will say black, right? But it will come through us, because we have a job here. And once we're polished up and we come back and we're made whole again, that signals the end of a satanic rule. Now, if you as a white person want to hold on to all your riches and the things that you have and all this stuff like that, and not go into that spiritual mindset, then you go into hell. And for the black folks, Latinos, Asians, Native Americans, if you want to hold on to this stuff of this world that way and give up the spiritual, trust me, you're going to hell too. Nothing wrong with having stuff. Madamwhipass got a beautiful place. Living a nice life. You work, you earned it. You're educated. I'm not against that. But the lust of it all, and I'm going to kill you just to keep what I have, and I'm going to blow up this country just to keep what I have, and I'm going to create a race war through the media and people getting shot up and amplify that just to keep you all down so we can have what we have. It's much bigger than just that neighbor across the street who happens to be a different color. This is deep, and we're missing it, and we're getting so caught up in just word for word what the Bible says instead of listening to and feeling the rhythm of what it says intuitively. You can't teach a person how to ride a bike by giving them a book. Well, I know how to ride a bike now because I read in the book. You got to get your ass on that bike and feel how you have to balance and even take a fall. You got to read your Bible and internalize it so much until it becomes part of you and you feel the word. You can quote words all day. They ain't doing a damn thing for you. When you read directions, you visualize, you say, okay, it says turn left here, turn. I'm feeling this. I'm visualizing what it says. Because words in directions are not going to take you where you have to go. You'll fly right on past. Well, it says go down so-and-so street until this, until that. What about the landmarks? We're missing the boat. And too many of us are afraid, and we're in church sitting up waiting and going through the motion, like punching the clock. Well, I did go to church, Lord. I showed up. That ain't going to get it. You better be a doer and feel it and execute it and become it. It's like the analogy I use with the lawyer. The lawyer don't bring all the books he ever studied to become a lawyer into the court with him. You know why? He read them and internalized it. To the point where he memorized everything. Not saying as a human being he doesn't have to brush up on things, right? But he has absorbed it so much that he is the law. He is every statute and law and this and that in his head, in himself. He's just not going to go and read off words to the judge. You don't want to hear that. I know you know your stuff. But can you execute this thing thinking on your feet in court to get a victory? And that's what we need to do. I don't even know how the heck I got on that part. I just on a roll. You got all quiet. We talk about the Jacksons.
Hey, maybe they need to hear this too. You know, I watched. I looked at a picture. I think it was the last family picture that they took with Michael before he passed.
Wow. When was that?
Huh?
When was that?
I think it was like May of 2009. Because they have like family reunions once a month where everybody gets together.
And that was a month before he died.
Yeah. And, I mean, it was all children, grandchildren, great-grand, all these people. And I looked at generations from, you know, the Jacksons that we know, Matt Jackson. And you go down the generation line in this picture, they just getting lighter and lighter and white, and I'm like, whoa. Whoa.
Yeah, see, folks gonna say that's hating. They're gonna say that's racist. But you know what? You you take a Jew. He said Jew. Oh my God.
I don't see white people generations going down the line getting darker and darker until they black.
Right, but see, I don't have a problem with that, and I wouldn't have a problem with the Jackson family getting lighter and lighter if this was fair. If it really was brotherly love and let's not see color.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? Because they see color all the time and don't want to say a damn thing about it. But I bet you someone's going to have something to say about what we say in this video. See, as I get ready to touch 50, I'm getting into that old uncle phase, the old uncle who comes to the cookout and don't give a damn what he says politically or in religion. He just saying it. And he don't care who he insults. Well, don't say anything. Those are our white friends over there. They I don't give a damn about them. So and so and so and so too. Not to insult anybody. But my thing is, time is running out, man. Let's be real. I never thought I'd say, Madamwhipass, next year I'll be 50 years old. Oh my God. So I'm not going to carry the weight of this facade or these different facades that we juggle around. I want to be free. You know what I mean? I'm not going to sit here trying to talk to this fine lady. Say I'm somewhere waiting for a bus, trying to talk to a fine woman I've been looking at for a long time if I was a single man, But I got to go use the bathroom. If I'm trying to be cool, I'll sit there in your stomach. Now, everybody knows that noise, white and black. Time to go, baby. Right? And you fronting, I'm fronting, trying to talk to this fine. Yeah, we all got stories on that one. I had to jump off a full bus and take care of business. I'm real like that. But I'm trying to talk to this chick, impress her. I'm sweating, stomach, you fighting it, trying to quench my rectum like some vice grip to keep something coming out of my pants. You know what I mean? I'm looking stupid because she knows what's going on. You know what? She'll respect me more if I'm real. Like, listen, sweetheart, I had a milk chocolate cake, and I just polished off a couple of Milky Way bars, and I think my stomach is telling me something. Look, if the bus comes, just try to hold it up for me. I really want to talk to you. This is embarrassing. We all have to go. We'll look back and laugh and talk about this one day if we ever get with each other. But right now, sweetheart, I'm going to ask you, do you have a few napkins in your purse? Be real! Wow. And you know what? She'll giggle, and she'll say, you know what? I like that. Because before he came to the bus stop, there was a Mercedes-Benz drop-top, muscular dude came up and tried to talk to me, but he was so fake. I took the number, but he was fake. There was another one who was working, looked like he does a construction job. No, he's getting paid. He was a gentleman and everything too. But I saw the wedding band on his finger. Fake. But this dude here waiting with me on the bus stop, he's so charming. He was real. You know what? When he comes back, I'm going to tell him to make the bus wait for me too, because I got to go also. You see, you can't always think that you're the only one going through something. Because while you were talking to her, she might have had the doodle too. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So just be real. I'm through. I was never really a fake, but okay, was I ever a fake? I'm asking you, madam. Was I ever a fake person? Was I ever a fake person?
No.
I'm brutally honest. I might hold things to say until the appropriate time, or once going through emotional things, I hold things. I don't want to step on anybody's toes. When it's time to be real, look, I'm gonna be real. So listen, people, if you see SCURV on the side in the bushes somewhere doodling, and you got veins popping out in my neck, I'm just being real. I'm not gonna sit around here and grit and bear it and suffer and mess up my pants trying to look cool, because it's still gonna stink. You know what?
I don't know how we got on this subject.
I don't know. Talking to fine chicks at the bus stop and having to use the bathroom. But you know what? If that happened to somebody out there, it would be a wonderful relationship, because you know what? Y'all can't front no more. We both met each other having to take a dump. So nobody can turn their nose up to anybody after that. You know what I mean? They should never have to close their bathroom door.
That's it.
Love at first sniff. Anyway, I love the way this conversation's been going because we just flowing behind different things, talk some real stuff, you know. And like I said,
what are we gonna title this? Because it was supposed to be about Michael, but it went all off on a different tangent.
What racism, Michael Jackson, the lightning of the Jackson clan, taking dumps at the bus stop, trying to talk to fine chicks, and I don't know. We just have to title it as a rant. You know what I mean? Because we touched on so many things. I'm not even going to put anything in the description box to try to cover it. Just listen to it and see. This is one of the strangest audios that we've done. No, it's one of the best ones. But what I'm saying is that it just went crazy. You know, like a bull in a china shop. It's like, how do you predict when he comes in? He's going to make a left. He might brush one of the pieces of china, but no, we knocked everything down. There might be some people who hate what we said about race relations, but they're going to identify with that universal sound of distress. Because I don't care who you are. You could be a white supremacist. You could be a Black Panther. Look, you know, the toilet paper wasn't segregated. The bathrooms might have been. But toilet paper is toilet paper, and we all use it the same way. Ain't that a beautiful thing? Let's have a kumbaya moment. Join hands. Just let's make sure we wash those same hands before we come out the bathroom. There won't be no kumbaya after that. But look, we're all human beings, man. We need to grow up. But we got to talk about things. We got to talk our ignorance out. You know what I mean?
We sure do. All right. Well, I got a few minutes before I have to hit the clock, and I'll just conclude this with saying, rest in peace, Michael. I'm still trying to get through this grieving process, but I'm gonna be all right. I'm gonna get there. One day I shall accept everything.
Yes, indeed. And the great Madamwhipass has spoken. But I'll talk to you later on, sweetheart, and we're gonna have a little conversations like this every week, and there will be people who make comments in the comment box. Give us some suggestions of things to talk about, because see, Madamwhipass and I have been talking like this, frankly, before I even came to the whole cyber thing and became LANCESCURV. So our conversations are always juicy. We're just sharing this with you, so we want to hear what you want to talk about. Okay, so we'll touch on it because we have a really weird, unique, and special way that we talk about these things that we can go on for hours. And it would go on longer, but she has to go. So take care, sweetheart. Call me later on. I'm going to be up. I got a lot of stuff to do on the site. And, carry on.
I'm Madamwhipass, and I approve this message.
Make sure to check out the boldest blog at LANCESCURV.com and follow SCURV on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube under LANCESCURV.